My racist mother-in-law wore a wedding dress to my wedding, so I ran away with my husband's baby. My mother-in-law never seemed thrilled about her son being with a woman of color. They come from an Italian family, and usually, it's custom for them to marry within their own culture. Every time I see her she commits microaggressions. One time she even made a comment saying at a family barbecue that if anyone ever needed chicken or watermelon they should contact me. I was a bit offended and I asked her to stop making backhanded compliments towards me. My boyfriend at the time always acknowledged that what his mom was doing was wrong and that it was unjustified. However, it's not part of their culture to cut her some slack, and that she wasn't used to it. My husband and his family were extremely close, so I had to constantly put up with his mother's disapproval and microaggressions. My boyfriend had taken me and his family back to their hometown in Italy, and at one of the best restaurants with the whole family he proposed. I gladfully said yes, but after that his mother made a huge scene. She started ranting about how she never pictured her son marrying me and that she always thought this was a phase. She soon started crying and left, and everyone started looking at us in the restaurant. I was still overjoyed with happiness because my fiancé had proposed, but it was a little bittersweet. However, what my mother-in-law would do at my wedding would turn out to be 100x worse. It was around this time, though, that I got pregnant. I shared the news with my husband, and he didn't seem as happy as I expected. He told me that his mom would definitely not approve of not having Italian grandkids, and that it would make the whole situation worse, and strain his relationship with his mom. We got into a big fight over this, and we rarely have fights, but it felt like he was putting his mother over me and his child. The wedding planning was awful and it took so much out of me because I was a perfectionist for these types of things. Also, the time pressure did not help. I wanted to do the wedding as soon as possible so that I could fit into my wedding dress. On our last day in Italy, a relative of my fiancé was throwing a party to re-celebrate his engagement, and usually I'm a big drinker, but I guess it was a bit suspicious when I kept on refusing to drink throughout the night. Some of the people picked up on it, and after a while my mother-in-law pulled me aside and demanded to know if I was pregnant. I told her that I was, and she said she could never accept a non-Italian grandbaby. After that, me and my husband left early and I told him what happened, and proposed that if his mother continued to act like this toward me then we should disinvite her from our wedding, but he immediately opposed the idea. At this point I was starting to get sick of how my husband always picked my mother-in-law's side. Over the next couple of months, I had no contact with my mother-in-law and refused to communicate with my husband about her. The next time I saw her was at my wedding, but I never expected to see what she would come to my wedding in. As I was getting ready, one of my bridesmaids said that my mother-in-law was in a big white wedding dress. I couldn't go out yet because it wasn't customary for the husband to see the bride before walking down the aisle. So I asked my friends to go and kick her out. That's when my mother-in-law barged in and started ranting about how I was such a selfish bitch that didn't understand anything about tradition, and that it was customary for the mother to wear white. I knew this was completely a lie because I have tons of Italian friends, and even to them this was wrong. My husband heard about all the commotion happening and long story short he said that it wasn't a big deal, and that I should just tolerate it because it was my big day and her wearing a wedding dress makes her happy and shouldn't diminish my happiness. I responded saying that I can't tolerate this for the rest of my life, and I said either we resolve this now or never. He said that he needed time to think, and that he could never go against his mother. That's when I hit my breaking point.